Welcome to our third multiple comparison procedure video. I'm just going to go over several of the other post hoc comparisons and talk a little bit about them as described in our textbook. And really, we've gone over several of their options from our flow chart on page 77. We've seen trends analysis and some orthogonal procedures, Denay's test, and even Tukey's test already. I'll just go over a couple others and talk about when we use them. Under Analyze, again, same thing we've done before. I'm going to go to Univariate, and I have it set up as I did before. I'm just going to go ahead and clear this by hitting Reset. I'm going to place, and the reason I did that is because it was set up for Tukey's from our last video. I'm going to go to Level of Attraction, and I'm going to hit put that in our fixed factor again, a number of statistics, and that is now our dependent variable. I'll go under Post Hoc Tests. Again, I select Group and put Post Hocs in here. We have all of these procedures. Some of them we are fine to use, others we want to be cautious with using. One of the ones that we see used in both the flow chart and also described in our text and is useful test is the Scheffé test. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Click Continue. In class, I mentioned that the Scheffé test is the only multiple comparison procedure, which is necessarily consistent with our F-test, with the results of the analysis of variance. So this means if we have a significant F value, well, we're guaranteed to find at least one group that's different. And if there's not, then we won't have any results that show up if the F ratio is not significant with the Scheffé test. So it's relatively conservative in that sense. So let's go ahead and run this analysis. Click OK. And we can see under multiple comparison procedures, our dependent variables, the number of statistics lab, just like the Tukey's test, looks set up exactly the same. However, for a closer examination, we see slightly different values for significance, and we can see that we have the Scheffé test listed here. If we go up, I'll kind of go up just a little bit, and we look at our significance levels for our Tukey test, honestly significant difference here, we see a slightly different pattern of significance. The Scheffé test, again, very, very versatile, very useful, similar in outcome, obviously, as our Tukey analysis. But we have to also keep in mind it's a very conservative test. So, and when we're looking for our pairwise comparisons, we may skip down instead to the Tukey test. And if equal variance is not assumed, there's the Kaiser-Bowden test. Since I mentioned equal variance not assumed, under Analyzed, under General Linear Model, under Univariate, have the same setup. I can go to the post hocs, and we had selected the Scheffé test. When equal variance is not assumed, there are several tests here. The last three are good tests to use. These are when we have equal variance is not assumed. I would recommend one of these three tests. When equal variance is assumed, typically you might be doing the Tukey test or the Scheffé test. I'll go ahead and select one of these. I'll select the Denay test. Click Continue. Select OK. We see again a very similar pattern. We have Denay T3 set up here, and if you're looking on page 77 for your flow chart, you see this is one of the last options. We have equal variances. We say no. Well, we're going to go ahead and use one of those tests, and I sort of selected one of those three. So we can see the outcome, and we can see the pattern of mean differences, which should be exact. You can go back to your video and look at the mean differences. This is just the difference in these simple comparisons. All of them should be the same as before. Standard error is changed up some now, and we see the significance levels are different as well, which could lead to different results, different selection choices. Just to note, some of the options that are discussed in Lomax's text, and Lomax and Housevogn's text, some of them just aren't available in SPSS. If you run into a situation where this is the case, you may have to look around at another program package or an alternative way to do this without a GUI interface in SPSS. But for the most part, our planned procedures like trend analysis or orthogonal procedures, or when we come to have rejected the F-test, we're doing a Scheffé test or Tukey's or modified Tukey's or not assume equality of variances, we can do all of those procedures as multiple comparison procedures in SPSS.